So Apple's been working on a major surprise for the iPhone 14, but nobody's been talking about it. So that's why I'm making this video. Yo, what's up guys? Sam Cole here. Welcome aboard the Apple News spacecraft. All right, we're starting our journey today with some crazy information about the base iPad. Like, you know, the cheap iPad, the $329 version. Everything you know about this iPad, take that out of your head, throw it out the window, okay? Because this iPad is not gonna be just an iPad anymore. It will have be something better. I can't speak, but it's gonna be a big upgrade. First up, Apple's putting a larger 10.5-inch screen on here, which is gonna essentially put it in the same realm as that older iPad Air. And I think that this is gonna be the design. I think Apple is genuinely gonna take the design of the old iPad Air from a few years ago and just recycle it. Why do I say that? Because that's what they do with a lot of their low-end products. And I don't say that in a bad way. I mean, the iPad Air with the 10.5-inch screen, pretty solid design. Again, if you're spending $300 on an iPad, I think that's sufficient. Number two, on the inside, an A14 chip is gonna be coming. This is a moderate upgrade over the A13 that it has currently, with gains of upwards of 30%. So pretty solid upgrade. Number three, I can't say this one without laughing at this point. So here's Apple introducing it.
Today, we're bringing 5G. 5G, 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 5G is the 5G. 5G, 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 5G.
5G. And finally, guys, USB-C. This is finally happening this year. Every single iPad that you can buy after fall of this year will now have USB-C as the default and only port. Wow, guys, we did it. We made it. Everybody, round of applause for the iPad. We've made it. Man, if only Apple could do this to all of their products. Well, you know, it's funny that you say that because we actually have some updates about USB-C on the iPhone. Now, there's been rumors about this, right? There's been people saying it's gonna happen, but there's nothing that's gonna make something happen like the law. So yeah, guys, this actually happened over in the EU. Any phone sold after fall 2024, if it has a port, it's not USB-C, it has to be USB-C by them. That is mandated by the European Union. And another round of applause for this one, man. I didn't think this episode was gonna be filled with this much excitement, but you're telling me that this is actually gonna happen, that we are finally going to get USB-C on the iPhone, not because of rumors, but because of a literal government. Dude, I know you want me to have a philosophical conversation about the long-term implications of this and how potentially the government mandating a technology today could backfire in 10 years as technology evolves, and then we're mandated to be using this older tech because government don't work. Hey buddy, we're getting USB-C. So the thing that you're doing where you're trying to like think about the future, let's just tone that back a little bit, because you know what else we're hearing? That this is also on the table in the United States. Now let me be clear very quickly here. I don't think this is actually gonna pass in the US because there's a bunch of skis balls in this place where I live. But I will tell you this, I support this bill. So a group of senators in the US saw this and was like, hey, if they're doing that in the EU, that does seem better for consumers. So why don't we write a letter to some folks in the US government about the same thing, arguing that it's better if you have one cable for all of your stuff. And I gotta say again, well, this is probably not gonna go anywhere because this is just in the earliest possible stage. And again, the US is a very different regulatory group and environment than over in the EU. I like to see it, all right? This is my government working for me. Anyway, enough about USB-C. Let's move on to the iPhone 14. I have seen an increasing number of comments lately that it's gonna be a mid-upgrade, or the iPhone fell off, or Apple's gonna get ratioed in September because nobody cares. The market for smartphones is dead. The golden era was years ago, man. So that's why today I wanted to talk about the surprise that Apple's been working on it. The big feature that I just feel like everyone has forgotten about. Because you know how Apple does things. Every few years, they announce something that nobody was ready for. A feature that nobody else on the market had and that wasn't taken seriously until Apple did it. And they've been doing this for a long time, right? Like Touch ID on the iPhone 5S. Nobody had a fingerprint sensor on their phone before then. Or what about Face ID on the iPhone 10, which is just a perfect segue in today's sponsor, which is Grid, who recycles iPhones by turning them into art. Can you guys see this? Do you see how cool this is? I don't get sponsors like this often. This is nuts. So they have an insane amount of models to choose from. Obviously, the classic classic iPhone 2007, what started it all the way up until the 2017 iPhone 10. And the level and attention to detail on these really feels like I bought them from Apple themselves. I mean, aside from the display just being stunning here with every part individually labeled, they are perfectly assembled on here with dimensions, even quotes from Steve Jobs. It legitimately feels authentic. And I'm over here like, listen, this is something only Grid could do. So when you guys go to gridstudio.cc/iupdate, you can get started with one of these today. Again, there are so many models to choose from, everything from original iPhone, iPhone 10. You've also got other third-party products from a number of other companies that are all just as beautifully and carefully crafted. I don't know, man. It's just not that often I get to talk about things like this that are so cool in a video. So yeah, check them out, gridstudio.cc/iupdate. Link is down below. You can get one of these right now. But that's what Apple does. Every few years, they announce this game-changing feature that everybody thinks is crazy and impossible and that they would never do until they do it. And they beat the market to it every time. And this year, on the iPhone 14, later in September, Apple's gonna do it again. This time with a feature called satellite communication, where your iPhone 14 natively, with no additional add-ons or hardware, is gonna be able to talk to satellites when you don't have cell service. We heard back a long time ago that Apple was working on putting satellites into the sky. And I remember the reaction to this article. People were laughing. People said Mark Gurman has lost his mind. But I said, you know what? I bet they're up to something. I bet I've seen this before. I've seen them work and put these pieces together. I wonder what it's going to be. And everything started to add up when we heard things from another analyst, Guomin Chi, last year, and follow-up reports from Mark Gurman. And now even from 9 to 5 Mac, this is something Apple is not just considering. It's something they're seriously working on and aiming to launch with the iPhone 14 lineup. So how's it going to work? Basically, there are a lot of places in the world, specifically in the US where I live, that cell towers do not reach. There are places where if you are stuck somewhere, or you get lost, or you break down, or you hurt yourself, if you don't have cell service, you are out of luck. That is, unless you would buy something like a satellite phone, something that as long as you have clear view of the sky, you could point it up and ask for help, make a call, send a message using this third-party device. But what if the phone you already had could do that? Built-in, native. Right out of the box, you can talk to satellites if you don't have cell connectivity. And the feature is going to be broken up into two components. Number one is going to be called emergency message via satellite. If you need to contact someone, I think under 50 characters, you will be able to send a text message using a satellite that will have a special gray bubble so people know how you're communicating. You won't be able to call somebody like a traditional full-featured satellite phone, but you will be able to do that lightweight messaging if you need to. And the second component is to report an emergency as it happens. Like if you fall or somebody gets hurt, and again, you wouldn't normally be able to reach out, you can take out your iPhone 14. Like this is not the coolest thing ever? And contact emergency services, send your coordinates to them so they know where you are. And I can just see the marketing for this now. While everybody else makes a smartphone, Apple makes iPhone 14, and iPhone 14 keeps you safer than anybody else. And I don't know about you guys, but there have been a few emergency situations in my life where I've had cell service. But if I didn't live where I lived in a very populated urban area when those things happen, if I lived somewhere more rural, if I was on a hike alone with no cell service, that feature could have actually been life-changing. And we've seen how Apple has marketed things like fall detection on the Apple Watch. They've made these features to be actually impactful, to make a difference in people's lives, and this just lines up perfectly with Apple's ethos. I mean, the cherry on top is that Globalstar, who is Apple's rumored partner for this, announced that a major partner has launched satellites into the sky, but they just haven't named who that major partner is. We know Apple makes people sign NDAs, they don't want this feature to leak, but Globalstar wants to appeal to investors. They're like, hey, there's this big company, but we can't tell you who. Just know we're making moves. Is this not so cool? Am I drinking the Kool-Aid too much? You let me know down below. All right, let me know down below. I feel like I'm out in the boonies. Hey, just make sure you have one of these grids with you. These are so cool. Again, link down below. It's crazy to think we went from this to an iPhone that's gonna connect to satellites, right? That is nuts. Okay guys, that's all for this video. I just wanted to make people realize that there is something big coming to the iPhone 14. It is not just a new camera or a processor or a screen, because we've gotten those time and time again. There is something legitimately impactful that they're working on. And I think it's going to change everything. That's just me, though. That's just me. What do you think? All right. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Catch you next one. Peace.